With the Illini coming into town tonight at 7, can the Hoosiers get it done? They are gonna need this one. Let's get into it.
Pretty simple. I win.
For three on the way.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. And
what you got the football shirt on? I mean, what'd you?
yeah, you know what? I wore this because I wanted to look like a winner today. I wanted to feel like a winner. And you feel a lot more like a winner wearing Indiana football swag than you do Indiana basketball. Am I right?
I mean, nobody's gonna think you're a winner no matter what kind of shirt you're wearing.
Hey, shut up, okay? But thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about the Illinois game tonight, and we're going to talk about accountability a little bit in this episode. Like, what does it mean and why people want to be held accountable? Not only on the basketball floor, people in your life want to be held accountable. People you work with, people you work for, you want them to hold you accountable. It's all in the meaning of life. It's accountability. But if this is your first time here or you are a returning viewer, many of the people, only like 10% of the people that watch the videos are subscribed.
I'm 110%.
So go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I do have t-shirts on. If this video hits 2,100 subscribers, I will be giving away another t-shirt from Rally House. So hit that subscribe button down below. Leave me a comment. Tell me why you're such a huge Indiana Hoosiers fan. This is where the most passionate fans that come to talk about the game. And the video is brought to you by BetUS. Use promo code Indiana125 to save 125% on your first 3 deposits. And 10% of all of the AdSense revenue on this channel goes to T2T.org, because without the veterans, we are nothing. They do so much for all of us, and we just need to give a little bit back to them. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. Alrighty, so Hillbilly Monkey, we got a big game tonight. I believe it's on the Peacock, so I hate the rewind. I hate the rewind features on Peacock because I will be at work at 8 and then I'll come home at 8:30 and I'll have to watch the rest of the game. And their functionality of Peacock, come on, people, like, you're paying money for this per month. You can't make a program that will like just work better, please. I mean, that's my rant about Peacock. Just make it so you can rewind and fast forward like you can on anything else. Like on YouTube Live, you can just easily rewind. It's not, doesn't seem like it's rocket science, you know. I can write some code. It's not that difficult, okay? Let's go ahead and do that. You got tons of money, do you not? I don't know, do they? Illinois coming into town, playing on the Peacock, and look, Kasparis, this is what it's all going to boil down to. This Kasparis guy, is he going to play in the game? He has a forearm injury, and it looks like, so they were saying in the last game that he was ready to go, that he was maybe, they were saying that he was ready to go and he was going to play in the last game they had against USC, and then he ended up not going in the game. So whether or not he's warming up, one thing I do like about Peacock, they do come on early and show some of the warm-ups and stuff like that, which I like to see, just those little things, because I can't go to every game, you know. Will Kasparis play? He has the highest, so here he is. Kasparis, and I'm not even going to try to say that last name, but he averages 16.4 points per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, 5.4 assists per game, and 1.3.
Bruh.
I don't know what that stat is. Somebody tell me, because I'm baffled here. I just can't think. It's early in the morning. So Illinois, they lost the game to USC, but we have seen they have just killed some teams in the Big Ten. The player, if Kasparis does not play, the player to really watch out for, and Kasparis has the highest usage rate of anybody on their team. It's like 25% of all the baskets that go in are either shot or assisted by him. Trey White. This is the guy we got to watch, because this guard could really go off. 2 games ago, he scored 31 points in the game they had, or 3 games ago against Oregon, he scored 31 points. So he could definitely be the one. There's always in basketball, like they had one of their big stars go out. They pretty much have all role players around him. the thing to watch out for, will one of these role players for Illinois, will they step up and play like way out over their skis? I don't know, but that seems to happen a lot in college when you have a guy go out. We got Malik Renew out, and we see how guys have like really filled in. Now, this is a little bit different because they play more of a guard-heavy type of system where this guy's a 6'6" guard, this Kasparis is, and so who will be the guy who fills in for him and takes a spot? Or he could play in the game. This could be just some gamesmanship. This is one of the things where Brad Underwood was talking about it in the press conference I watched, and he is frustrated by it because he's not being given a clear whether or not he's going to be able to play or not. It was kind of like a game time decision. He was out there warming up in the last game, and then he ended up not playing in the game. So that is what we got to keep an eye on. But this Indiana team, like the guy and I don't want to put this guy down a lot, but Kanan Carlisle, like there has to be accountability on this team for the type of shot selection we're going to get. Like, this game could be a really, really breakout game that Luke Goode scores a lot, because that is something to keep an eye on. Used to play at Illinois. Guys always have a lot of motivation when they're going up against their old team to prove to all the people that work in that system there, hey, yeah, you know what? I was always a little bit more than what I got credit for here. And that's what Luke Goode is going to try to prove tonight in this game. Can he be the difference maker and help Luke Goode and Miles Rice? I don't know who the leaders on this team are, but I feel like Luke Goode and Miles Rice maybe are the main leaders. Galloway doesn't talk a lot. Who else is going to step up and be that guy? Umar Ballo should be able to have his way down low. I want to see him get into more of the types of positions he was against Penn State. Penn State, he was doing a better job against Penn State of running the floor and sealing somebody up by the free throw line. If Ballo can do that against Illinois and we can get some of those easy baskets around the rim and he can have one of those games where he's going to score 20, even though he still gets his like double-double just about every game. But if he has one of those games where he's a real difference maker and comes out with the energy, Indiana could be really tough to stop. And then you add in maybe Luke Goode scores 30. That's my prediction in this game, is that Luke Goode's going to go off. And I believe Miles Rice, if he can take it to Trey White, if Kasparis isn't playing. And look, this would be like another blessing in disguise for the Hoosiers, like to have another game. And let's look at the stats of all of the Illinois team in the last two games. Pull those stats up here, Hillbilly Monkey, here now. So you can see against USC where they struggled, Ben, and I hate his last name too, Hermocharas, he scored 15, and all the other kind of role players, they really didn't have any role player breakout. You just had Boswell with 10, and this is fine for Illinois. They probably win this game if they have their main go-to guy, and then all the other role players score 10. That's practically where they're going to be at. So that is the big difference maker. It's just whether or not one of these role players like Trey White, or who, it could be anybody on here, if any of those guys break out. And then you take a look at the other game, pull up the game against Oregon where they beat them, and you see Humerchess got 18 in that game, and Trey White got 20 in that game. You could just see that Kasparis got 16 in that game. So you could just tell all of Kasparis assists on a lot of their passes. So that's why not only is he critical to this team to score 16 points, he's critical in this team to assist on about 25% of the time. This guy has a huge usage rate. Could be a real dream scenario if he doesn't play and the Hoosiers could get one over on Illinois in a time where they desperately can't lose 2 games in a row. And you have Illinois coming in, and they have not lost 2 games in a row since, I believe the stat I saw was since 21-22. So Brad Underwood, and he's been there 8 seasons, and he has puts together a really good team year in and year out since he's been there. Time flies because I couldn't believe he'd been there 8 years already. You just know that they're going to come in and it's going to be a really hard-nosed, tough game. And So like, let's talk about the accountability more and go into that, because people want to be held accountable. Sometimes people get it all twisted. Like if you work somewhere and you want to be one of the best workers and you want to be that person on top, you want somebody to tell you when you're not doing a good job, don't you? I mean, I do. I want in my life, if I'm not doing a good job, tell me I'm not doing a good job. Tell me how I can change so that I can be better. You know, that's what the coach has to do. That's what the players have to do amongst themselves. And I feel like there's just not a level of accountability in any way. I mean, people look at it in the wrong way. I remember when I managed a restaurant, it was like one of the first managing jobs I had. And everybody probably goes through this in their life where it's just like, you realize you're the one in charge. Everyone's looking to you to solve the problems. And you suddenly just have to like be that guy. And you also have to hold everybody accountable. I'll tell you one scenario of managing a restaurant. So like there was a checklist we had. If the health inspector ever comes in, your hot water is supposed to be within like a certain range. It's like your hot water within 15 seconds gets to 165 degrees. So us as managers, we check this 3 times a day. Always check the hot water in the bathroom. It's just an easy way to make sure that all your equipment's running good, that your hot water is on. And, you know, how are you going to be able to sanitize your hands and all that if you don't have hot water? And also for the customers that are in the store, you know, just all of that stuff. You're talking about foodborne illnesses. You need to be able to wash your hands with soap and water. So if we could just sit there and go, no, it's most of the time, it's always running fine. Like 99 out of 100 times, it's always going to be fine. So just check it every single time, right? And then you just make sure that that's what I'm talking about. So like, I remember one time the general manager really getting at me about not doing that. And I was a younger person then. And now that I'm older, I definitely see why you always want to be checking that, because you never know when that health inspector is going to come in. And if you're always going through your checklist and making sure you did the 160 things you needed to do when you open the store, and the 150 things you got to do at noon, and the 160 things you got to do before you close, if you're always doing those things, then you're never going to have a problem with the health inspector, right? And it's just accountability. And that was like one of my first lessons in accountability. And it goes a long way. You just start to realize later in your life, it's like, yeah, he wasn't being a dick. He just didn't want to be, he just wanted it, peace of mind in your head. And when you hold people accountable, you have that peace of mind. What do you think about this, Hillbilly Monkey? I mean, this is how all the old timers do it. This is how, you know, Bob Knight was not going to let anybody not be held accountable. And I think this is why the culture is melting at Indiana.
Carved from the sands of the Wabash River and formed into a monkey lamp that's sold at Home Goods. It's the Hillbilly Monkey Perspective on Indiana Sports Connection.
Well, you're damn right. I mean, the culture does melt when nobody gets held accountable. Even your 3-year-old daughter want to be held accountable for the things they do. They might not think it, or they might not know it right now, but if you're not holding them accountable and you let them do whatever they're going to think they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason they want, for whenever. And that is exactly what Carlisle thinks out there. He thinks like your 3-year-old daughter, except for, you know what? He hasn't had any accountability laid upon him. I don't think so ever in his life. He just fire away.
Well, you're damn right about that. Old Cowboy Carlisle out there, he's just like, don't, da-don't, da-don't, boom, don't, da-don't, da-don't, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna fire up the shot. Give me the ball. Here it comes. Yeah! Who is gonna shoot the shot? It's Carlisle. Don't pass him the ball. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. You know, it's totally free, and you didn't even pay for that song and dance. That was absolute.
Oh, man, this is the kind of times when I wish you wouldn't have drawn eyes on me.
Yeah, this is the kind of time when he don't want me. He doesn't even want to see these dances. But thank you so much for joining me on this episode today. And until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans. Go IU.